A former Heights Funeral Home employee is describing conditions inside. The funeral home was put on a 6-month suspension by the state for a number of reasons, including the mishandling of bodies. Thank you for joining us at 6. I'm Brian Loftus.
And I'm Denise Valdez. Joe Moeller spoke to an employee. He is live near Sunset and Boulder Highway with what he had to say tonight. Joe?
Well, Trayvon Thomas says while working here at the Heights Funeral Home, he was also working at another funeral home here in the Valley. And watching how both were operating, he says he knew something was wrong.
When I seen these babies being stacked on top of each other, my heart dropped.
Trayvon Thomas said enough was enough.
I always said, like, what if families came in here and saw what you were doing with their loved ones?
Thomas says he's worked in the funeral business for 5 years, a year and a half at Heights, and was fired in July.
I called the labor board and I called the funeral board. I even called the Clark County Coroner's office and got you guys put off rotation. And when I told him that, it was over.
Thomas claims he was let go for threatening to report problems. He shared videos and photos with me, he says, are from Heights, most too graphic to share.
You'll have another picture where the bio waste bags are not in the bio bins.
One video shows what he says is embalming happening in the wrong area. Another shows someone sawing a metal shelf with sparks flying on bodies stacked below. Another shows what he says are babies stacked on a shelf. The law says that human remains must not be placed on other human remains.
You'll see that there's at least 5 or 6 babies stacked on top of each other.
He says record keeping was also a problem. We asked him if it is possible that people have the wrong remains.
Yes, it's people out there that's probably not even their loved ones. Sorry to say. Yes, definitely.
Thomas says he called the funeral board numerous times but never filed a complaint online. The board says that needs to happen for action to be taken.
They need to be shut down, period.
Now back out here live, I did reach out to Heights today a few times and we did not get contacted back. The board tells me they are still overseeing the suspension process. Bodies must be buried, cremated, or transferred to another facility by later this month. Reporting live in Henderson, Joe Moeller, 8 News Now.
Joe, Thomas touched on it there in his story, but, is there a way for someone to find out if the remains they do actually have are the right ones?
Yeah, I actually brought that question up to the board earlier today, and they said there actually are companies out there that will test the DNA in ashes, but the likeliness of there being DNA to test in those ashes is very low. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks for the update.
Tonight, this video sparking lots of outrage. You can see a funeral home employee cleaning off equipment at a public car wash. The person who shot that video claims the employee was washing blood into the drains.
Yeah, but the funeral home is telling us that is not the case. Jessica Borg talked to the funeral home. She's live in Northeast Houston. So what are they saying about this, Jess?
Well, the funeral home owner says they've been serving this community for more than 20 years. The words on their sign here, dignity, diligence, diversity. He says they've never had any problems with their cleaning methods until today.
Funeral home is over here washing off the blood off the crib.
This is the Facebook video that rattled residents. The video shows an employee from a local funeral home hosing down the inside of a transport vehicle at this car wash in the Denver Harbor section of Northeast Houston. The person recording this video declined to be interviewed for our story, but in the clip can be heard saying he believed the substance going down the drain was blood.
You're washing off the blood off the crib, man.
The clip, posted yesterday, has gotten more than 11,000 views, garnering a slew of comments from people disgusted and outraged.
I don't think it should be done out here in the public where people come and wash their vehicles there. Some kids are barefoot.
When Deborah Castillo saw the clip, she called the City of Houston's 311 complaint line.
I just reported the fact that I saw this on Facebook. I was concerned and wanted them to investigate the Esperanza Funeral Home.
And it appears someone did. Our camera spotted an inspector with the Department of Health and Human Services at the car wash bays. A short time later, he was entering the Esperanza Funeral Home about a block away. The funeral home's owner says the Facebook post has caused one big misunderstanding.
What they're not showing on there is that it's actually not blood, but it is a combination of citrus and a combination of bleach salts.
Bono Polito says his funeral home has been using the same cleaning solution for years.
So when we pick up your loved ones, there's not any odor.
Polito believes it's more hazardous to wash out engine parts at the car wash than it is to use his citrus bleach combination, which he admits can have the appearance of blood. The disposal of blood would be illegal. The Harris County Health Department says there are serious restrictions on the disposal of bodily fluids, which would apply to any car wash. Deborah Castillo says if it's not blood, the employee should have explained that to the person with the camera to avoid any confusion.
What you see makes the mind go. Okay, so to me, if it was blood, infected blood, that's what I'm thinking.
And we called around and could not determine if this is a commonly used practice at funeral homes. Polito says he's never been in violation of the Texas Funeral Services Commission, which regulates funeral homes. The commission did not get back to us to double check about if the funeral home has ever been cited. We also reached out to the County Pollution Control Services Department to see if, in fact, this kind of cleaning solution would even be allowed at a car wash. We've not yet heard back from that department. We are live this evening in Northeast Houston. Jessica Borg, KHOU 11 News.
Very interesting. Thanks so much, Jessica.
Again tonight with a KETK News exclusive. An East Texas family is demanding answers after a Tyler mother and her unborn child died in a horrific accident.
Here's what's going on. The family claims a Longview Funeral Home took the woman's body from the hospital and then refused to provide service until the family paid up. KTK's Maya Owen spent the day digging into this funeral feud. And Maya, you sat down with the woman's husband, the sole survivor.
That's exactly right, Neil and Casey. When the crash happened back in August, 26-year-old Jataria Lynn Smith was just 3 days away from giving birth to her first child. Now the family wants to start the healing process, but it's been a painful struggle that's lasted for weeks. It's been the long journey of Ronnie Smith's life.
In the wreck, I don't remember everything that went down in the wreck, and she was there, man. She was there. She was right there, man. She was there for me, man. She was right there.
The she he is talking about, his wife, Jataria Lynn Smith.
And I just know the car came out, then I had a flash out. Couldn't remember. I flashed out. I couldn't, oh God, I flashed out.
Ronnie was driving down State Highway 64 when a driver pulled out of his driveway, failing to yield the right-of-way. That's when the cars collided, sending both drivers to the hospital in critical condition. Jataria sitting in the passenger seat.
God bless me and say, Lord, give it, and Lord, take it away. I'm trying not to cry.
Jataria and baby Isaiah were killed.
Jataria, is she all right? I was trying to get up. I couldn't get up. I was trying.
Ronnie says he doesn't remember much from that day. Now sitting in a wheelchair, he's reminded of that painful memory.
2 cracked ribs or 2 broke ribs. I still have them still trying to maintain that. It still hurts. The ribs still hurt, and it's still hurting me in my back.
Doctors say it will be 12 months until he'll be able to walk again. The Smiths say it's been weeks since they've been able to bury their loved one. Going back and forth with the funeral home, they're hoping to find resolution to this long journey. According to the family, originally wanting 2 services, they contacted Rosewood Funeral Home in Longview to make a change.
How can we get this funeral bill down? Now Ronnie just wants to have 1 service.
But the Smiths say they hit a roadblock when it came to payment.
They were, I don't know, reluctant, I would say, to just accept the assignment on the policy.
The family says Jataria's life insurance policy was considered contestable, meaning an investigation into her death had to be performed. In a statement from Rosewood Funeral Home, the owner, Joshua Anderson, says, quote, "We do not honor contestable insurance policies," also stating they will not perform the services until the service funds have been secured.
The cost that had added up until that point was $7,300. So that bill had to be paid before they would release the body to another funeral home.
Michelle Mills with the Better Business Bureau says funerals can be expensive and suggests having a plan in place just in case.
You can go to any funeral home and you can prepay your expenses so that at the time of death, the family doesn't have to worry about, which coffin you wanted or how you wanted your service.
Waiting for the day Jataria will be rested.
Please just think of this as being one of your loved ones. Would you want your loved ones to have to go through this?
And the family can begin to recover from the loss of a loved one. Now, after we started working on the story, the funeral home and the Smith family came to an agreement. A viewing will happen tomorrow, and her funeral is set for Saturday. Reporting in studio, Maya Owens, KETK News.
Good evening. Welcome to Local News 8 at 10. I'm Linda Larson. Thanks for being with us tonight. We have new information tonight on our coverage of a Pocatello funeral home that is under investigation by police. Lance Peck, Downard Funeral Home's owner, has surrendered his licenses, but so far no charges have been filed. Police have finished searching the funeral home in Pocatello after a state licensing inspector reported finding a decomposing body at the business. But the investigation of Downard Funeral Home continues. Here's what we know so far. During their search, detectives found bodies in varying states of decomposition, as well as several human fetuses. Some bodies were identified and taken to other mortuaries. The bodies that are still unidentified are in the custody of the Bannock County Coroner's Office. Peck has a previous record of misconduct since purchasing the funeral home in September of 2007. He faced disciplinary action from the Idaho Division of Occupational and Professional Licenses between 2015 and 2018. People living in the area have reported foul smells coming from the business for weeks. Police now plan to process the other evidence, review documents, and contact people who may have information about the case this week. The investigation is still active, and if anyone has any information on the case, they should contact police at 208-234-6100. You can find more details on our website at localnews8.com.